Squirrel.
Right guys and girls, it's a Titleist brand new release, Titleist TSi2 TSi3 drivers. Two new drivers from Titleist. I'm going to take them on the golf course and test them. I'm going to show you my numbers for these clubs as usual. I've also got 5 amateurs who have tested these clubs over a few weeks. I'm going to show you their numbers and strokes gained, if not against their old drivers, with these two clubs. So slightly different today, but it should be fun. Also, I've got a little competition. If you want to take part, we're going to do it together. So, to enter a competition to win one of my old TS drivers, because I used to game TS, you could win one of my old TS drivers if we get this video to 5,000 thumbs up. Hit that like button down there right now. Second, if you post a comment saying that you think I can get my ball speed during this test to 160. 160 ball speed for me is fastest I can get to. This driver is meant to be the fastest, straightest, longest driver Titleist have ever produced. It's got the ATI face. So if I get to 160 ball speed, we hit 5,000 likes. Also, if you post a comment down below saying I can or I cannot get to 160 ball speed. Come on, little bit of faith in what we're trying to do here. Let me know if you think I can or can't down there. You need to be a subscriber to this channel with the bell on. And you will be entered to win as long as I can hit the 160 ball speed during this video. One of my old TS drivers. Should we take these out on the course to start us off, see what they're all about? Should be a fun one. So we're definitely seeing two very different shapes from the 2 to the 3 in the TSi. It is much more stretched back at the back, like it's been stepped on and flattened, where you're definitely going into the more pear, return to that real classic pear shape. And we're also seeing the TSi on the top, which I quite like the way that lines up and looks. So let's start with the 2. Sits nice and square, black head. You've got obviously the new face that we'll talk about is black with these very distinct white kind of lines, score lines on each side. It looks nice, looks super nice. Let's see how it feels. Definitely looks friendly, game improving ideas down by the ball. Like, looks big, more on the stretched backness of it at the back. Yeah, that is a nice feel. It's got a bit of a ting to it, but not too loud. It feels solid. It feels what you'd imagine from TS and TSi from Titleist. Let's see what the 3 feels like. So 3, yeah, like this is instantly looking what I think is much nicer. You're definitely going to feel like the 2 is the friendlier one, and we'll see that on the numbers. And when we get the amateurs testing, there's some interesting numbers that come out actually. The other thing with the 2 which I really liked is they definitely rounded this toe end off more than the old TS, which was much straighter. So they are now looking more similar along the leading edge of the line, which I like. It's just, again, it's that stretched backness that's so kind of the bigger discerning difference in those looks. 3 is super Titleist classic. Again, sits lovely and square. It's an all intents and purposes, it's the same look for colorways and the lineups and what have you. Oh, it feels good. Maybe a little quieter, but so much of that could be more strike than actually if they do sound different. We'll hit more. So we're going to have a look at the tech, because obviously on the 3, we've got this noticeable sliding weight, which we haven't on the 2. Let's go and see what Titleist is saying about these clubs. So if we look at the tech, the first thing with these drivers is they're saying they're going to go faster because they're more aerodynamic. There's a 15% reduction in drag with the way they've shaped and designed these 2 new drivers. Obviously, lots of companies have gone that way, since Ping went that way, it seems. So there's something that might help me get me to my 160 ball speed if I can get this moving any faster. Now, big talking point for Titleist is the ATI face. It's a US-made ATI face in these clubs. Now, this is aerospace grade material, Titleist is saying. It delivers high strength. It's springy and it's super tough, because that then leads on to the CT claims that Titleist are making with both of these 2 drivers. It's on both of them. So the ATI face is across the whole face, which is allowing them to keep the CTs, so kind of think about the spring effect of the face, up on this driver to tolerances that maybe they've not reached before. So in theory, as you hit this driver over and over and over with this face, you're going to keep that CT value exactly where you want it to try and get that most ball speed out of your shots. Again, helping you win that TS driver. We're seeing improved MOI on both of these clubs. 13% TSi2 to 10% increase on MOI TSi3. And what Titleist are saying, they're seeing that increase very much from top to bottom. Again, if you think about ball speeds, MOI, resistance to twist, as you hit these shots in different parts of the face, if the club is moving, it's losing energy. The resistance to that twist will allow you to keep that energy up. So in turn, hopefully that comes out as ball speed when you're hitting slightly higher and slightly lower on the face, as well as this way, heel and toe. They're always trying to keep the MOI up, basically in 3 dimensions. So they're saying they've increased new limits or reached new limits of MOI with both these drivers. And then adjustability, we get this movable weight on the back here on the TSi3. TSi2 doesn't, it has a fixed weight at the back. Both of them feature the sure fit neck, which can allow you to dial in lies and lofts independent of each other, which has always been clever, and they've stuck with that, and it's just a good design. Now this club is interesting, so they're not talking with this movable weight so much as shot shaping. They're going to talk more about trying to line it up with your strike pattern. So if you're someone who always hits it out the heel, you might move it around to line it up a little bit more to heel. Again, trying to squeeze an extra 1 or 2 mile an hour ball speed, and then in turn hopefully result in distance by just allowing you to move maybe the center of gravity fractions to line up with your distinct strike pattern. Because believe it or not everyone should be hitting it very much in the geometric center. That's not where everyone gets their best deliveries, stroke ball speed, subject to what they do deliver. So we get 5 positions basically on the back of TSi3, trying to move, just gently move that weight around to line that strike point up. And then when it comes to the shaping, impressive, beautiful pear shape with TSi3. TSi2 is kind of stretched back, feels much deeper at the back, lower down. And they've also calmed the toe down than the old TS2, which was very straight face looking. This one they've really rounded it off to give it a much more classic, prettier look really. So tightening up CT is interesting, isn't it? Obviously we've seen that with TaylorMade. That's what they're talking about when it comes to their face, and Titleist now obviously doing a similar idea. And I've seen CT testing, so on tour, like, this is so crucial, because if these faces are getting close to the limits, which obviously each manufacturer's trying to do because they're all trying to outdo each other, and you get these players hitting the ball very hard, like the CT can move over time, and then they're in like air travel, it moves and all banging around in bags. So if they can get it close to tolerance and keep it there, which is what, like I say, TaylorMade have been saying, they feel like they can just give you that extra ball speed throughout the longevity of this club, because the face, obviously they're saying, is, you know, super strong and tough and flexible, and it's not being seen by any other manufacturer, which makes them quite proud. How much you will see of that in your tests? Well, maybe I will hit my 160 ball speed because of it. It's going to give me brilliant CTs across more parts of the face, and you'll all win. One of you will win my old TS driver. I don't know, interesting. I do think we're talking very small tolerances. And the thing I quite liked is that the face didn't really feel any different. So even though they're saying it's new, it didn't feel different, sound different. It felt, you know, it felt exactly how I'd want it to feel. So obviously we're getting almost under the hood technology, aren't you? So we've got 2 has the fixed weight, changeable neck, which has been in them for a while, which I like to see. It's a very good changeable neck. So many companies have actually copied this. And then we get this little weight on the back, and I like the fact that Titleist are talking more about lining up your strike patterns with this little weight rather than so much shot shape. We've got a video coming on that soon when I tested lots of amateurs with a draw driver. I can show you the difference it actually makes or not. So I've got it lined up slightly out the toe, because that's where my kind of sweet spot is. That's where I tend to hit the ball and get my best results, just to again try and squeeze that ball speed out of there as much as possible. And they're super proud of this face. It's on no other clubs, no other manufacturer uses it, is what they're saying. So it'll be interesting to see if any of the Tour Pros numbers go up over the next year. I think we know what that means really. If you actually want to look, what's always interesting is that PGA ShotLink produces and shows the data from any player using whatever club, as long as you know what it is, over X amount of years. The patterns are generally in the players. All right, can I feel a difference between 2 and 3? The visual is there. Is there a sound that accompanies it? Again, feels solid, it's a nice ting. It's certainly not dull, it's got a bit of sound to it, it sounds good. I'm definitely a 3 in the looks. I think lots of you will be. It looks big enough, just looks lovely. Yeah, Oh, so hard to tell. I would say this is a fraction duller in sail, possibly, but like not much in it. They feel very, very similar, to be fair. So definitely built around custom fit. You know, I've seen this on tour ranges. I've seen Liam, their tour fitter, try and move the center of gravity to strike. It's just good to see it come to the consumer and the fitters fitting you guys and girls down the lens, really. All right, so we're going to have a look at these numbers. So you've got mine in here, plus 5 other amateurs, different handicaps. And we've also got strokes gained. Let me know in the comments down below if this A makes sense or not, why we're using strokes gained, and B if you like it, because I'm going to start including it in every review, and maybe it's something that you should start thinking about more when you're thinking of making your next purchase, unless you just want shiny stuff. If you want to know if you're going to play better, score better, strokes gained might have the answer. Now these numbers are 5 amateurs ranging from 3 handicap up to 16 handicap. Also my numbers are in here as well. I'll give you a breakdown of mine individually, and we're going to try and hit the 160 ball speed as well, so that's coming. So we've got own TSi2, TSi3 on this chart. This is club head speed. Did anyone swing it faster? Well, TSi3 maybe a mile or so hour faster over the test. TSi2 to people's owns, a fraction faster, but very similar. Not much in it, but you could see maybe a mile an hour gain on TSi3 over the group of tests, possibly on the average. When it came to dispersion, so this is their own TSi2, TSi3 here on the top. Not much to call in it, a little bit left, a little bit right. People's owns, you'd expect them, custom fit drivers to be dialed in for them. Average dispersions, again, not much in the averages as well. So I didn't see it really going straighter than anything anyone was bringing to the table. Now, ball speeds. This was really interesting. Considering the handicap range that we're talking about, TSi3 ball speed definitely came out the fastest. And as you see as the test goes on, it just performed really well for all of these golfers, which is not often what you would find is like the marketed idea of who should game these clubs. Own did very well, but you just snuck out a fraction bit more ball speed with TSi3. TSi2, not much of a change. Obviously very, very close on these as well. Like, it's not a massive gain, it's incremental, and this is still, you know, you could have a much bigger data set to see if there's anything that's really going to come out of this. But, you know, this is 6 people hitting shots, like 20 plus shots each. If we look at the spin with all 3 clubs, so what was interesting, TSi3 again really stands out at how tight it was in its spin model. So a fraction less than TSi2, like 200 or 300 revs, really close in spin. So normally these clubs have often had a little bit more of a stretch in their spin models, 300 to 500 revs, but they're much closer, I would say now, the spin models between these 2 clubs. But it's just the consistency of TSi3 there really stands out. And again, from this test, I think it shows as well how important it is that people get custom fit. These players were custom fit, but when they were custom fit, subject to what they do now, was also coming through in the test. Because I'm giving them a modern club with my ideas of what should suit them as well. So it's interesting how close and tight TSi3 came out on that test. It's performing really well for all these handicaps. And then resulting distance. Well, resulting distance was TSi3. Again, came out average as the longest for everyone. And a sneaking distance in TSi2, but not much. And it's still not much with TSi3 compared to their own. Now, their own, I'll do another video on what clubs they were using, but they ranged from a 15-year-old driver to a 2-year-old driver with plenty of stops in between from these golfers. It was interesting. The year of the driver didn't seem to make a difference to the test. But definitely, again, TSi3 just kind of pushed that fraction more distance. But how useful is that distance? We've got one new stat for you, which we're going to continue to try and deliver in club reviews. So we've got player A, B, C, D, E, and F. And in the comments down below, let me know if you guess which one is me. So I'm in here. I'm one of these players. So player A, their own, they were losing on average, this is to a tour pro, 0.34 shots. TSi2, they lost more, 0.57, and TSi3, they lost more, 0.59. So their driver doing as good as it needs to do. The new 2 drivers from Titleist there didn't give them any more strokes gained. So strokes gained, think of it now, we're measuring not only how far they've hit it, but if they can keep it on the planet as well, because they're going to be knocked down for hitting it in the rough and knocked down for hitting it outside of the rough into a recovery area. So this is distance plus dispersion now. Okay, player B, they did see gains. They were losing 0.44 with their own club, but they were only losing 0.1 and then 0.29 with TSi3 and TSi2. Remember, this is against tour pros. These are handicap golfers, so they're going to lose. So they need to lose less to be gaining. That makes sense. So TSi2, TSi3, player 2, definitely a winner. Player C, they lost 0.5 with their own. This is the standout one. They gained 0.8 with TSi2 and lost 0.23 with TSi3. Like, they need a TSi2, don't they? Like, what? They're just giving so much away with their own club. That was a massive standout winner for them. Now, player D, they were gaining 1.1 with their own club and losing with TSi3. They only tried TSi3 and they lost 0.07. So again, their own club was far outperforming TSi3 on strokes gained on that one. Player E, they were just trying TSi2, TSi3, didn't have their own club. They gained with both 0.12, 0.17. So that would definitely put you more in the TSi3 range. And then player F, who only tried TSi2, lost more, 0.5 compared to 0.25 with their own, so they were gaming their own better. So again, the big standout thing for me from this, bearing in mind this is many years, different handicap golfers as well, many years of drivers, it was so player specific. Finding the patterns in the actual heads of the drivers was hard to find with the mixed array of golfer. Again, what always comes back to getting fit, get more lessons. That's where your real gains are. But if any of these people wanted to drop some money on a new club, some of them definitely could find some gains from the new TSI. Right, one more drive of each club before we see if I can get my 160 ball speed for you. Make sure you've entered the comp with your comment and your subscribing and hitting that like 5,000 likes. Can't wait for you to tell me which one you like the look of the most, because it is the free for me. I think Titleist always fall into this kind of bracket. Yeah, I'm going to say that the 2 is slightly louder. I always think the Titleist fall into this little bracket of making the so-called players one, so on this occasion the 3, like the more desirable looking one, but often the one that lots of golfers think, I just can't use that, it's the better player one, it's the tour player one. Where like the numbers showed that wasn't really the case, was it? Because the 3, in my opinion, looks better. Just looks lovely. Sounds good, feels good, looks good. I'm going to go for the 160 ball speed with the 3, with it slightly in the toe. Can I do it? Let's go and check it out. Right, 160 ball speed's my max. If this is the fastest driver they've ever produced, can I get there? Just to let you know, I'm in D1 position, 9-degree D1, so it's come down in loft. I've got the weight 1 placement into the toe, because that's my general strike pattern. 50 grand. Stiff shaft. The lighter shafts, for me, help me go a little bit faster, 1-2 mile an hour. Not everyone's the same now, it's player specific. And maybe if you want to know what shafts come as standard in this club, we'll put them here, right now. These are the shafts that come as standard for everyone who wants to know what shafts. But if you're getting custom fit, you should be upgrading your shaft or not, whatever you want in there, really, because it's all on you. Gotta say, I love the shape of TSi3. 2's nice, but 3 is perfect. It's just really, really good. Right, 160 ball speed. Here we go. I'm going to show you my numbers as well from this test, because obviously the numbers I had it in everyone's all grouped in. I'll give you my numbers on here as well for the normal 262 chasers. It's a little bit of a toey hit, so the ball speed won't be good. Club 110. That's going to get to 300. It's a low spinner. Ball speed. Yeah, 153, it's a 1.5 spin. It's a ridiculously low high toe. It's a knuckleball, but 7 miles an hour away with ball speed. Is this face any faster? This is the ultimate test for them. Trying to get me to 160 ball speed is the ultimate test for anybody. Okay, better hit. Not the shape I want, but better hit. 110 club, smash went right up to 1.44, didn't get the numbers right though for direction. Oh, ho, ho. It's a 159, we're gonna have 15 attempts, that's why, so I get warmed up for 15 attempts. I mean, I am warm, I've been out on the course testing it, but I think that's fair, isn't it? I need a few goes. So I presented 20 degrees of loft on that. If I could knock that loft down to say 18, 16, a little bit better delivery, that would get to 160 ball speed. Other things are in place. Come on, Titleist, fastest ever. Make me fast. Off the top of the head again, which is my standard hit. Definitely feels TSi3 is that fraction fadier. Definitely feels like it might just cut a little bit. Tried to hang on to that one a bit more. 110, 19 loft now. Again, I need that 16, 156 ball. 17 loft, this has got chances. 157. Oh, hello, hello. It's a liner, it's a 110, it's 18 loft. Bit toey, 158. Come on. Running out of shots here. No, it's at the bottom. Right, 4 shots left. Everything's in place, apart from it's all not in place at the same time. So the numbers speed is there, the strike doesn't quite get in place for the ball speed number. Just need to get one of those 111 clubs with a centered strike, not the high toe. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Are you for the people? Oh, it's a 160 ball. Shot 12, you are welcome. Right, before we talk about who might gain which one of these two drivers, because I think it's interesting, let's just look at the numbers on, so my numbers here. So I'm averaging 275 carry. And this is so much the work I've been doing, then in turn with the help of them. But me being me, and you should be the same as this, these numbers are my numbers. The club helps me create them. Like, we could bring a lot of other drivers in, and we've got some tests coming that maybe will do the same. So I'm not saying it's the fastest one they've ever chosen. If you want me to maybe test it to an old TS before I send it off to the winner, I can do that as well. But that being said, the numbers are really good as well. Averaging 1.9 spin, few ultimate low ones in there. It's going to be a 2,000 to 200 if you take the 1.5s out, which is kind of, I wouldn't want a 1.5 in there. Averaging 155 ball speed. That's the horrible bit for me. 160 is my top. I'd want 160 is my next goal to be average, which means I would need to be hitting 165. So a lot more work. So I do the work and hit 165s. Is it now this club again? And of course it's not. It's all the work I'm doing, the human trying to get better, physically stronger. But I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Basically, if you look at the carries, 262 has now become my shortest, which is something I'm really proud of and happy that we're going in the right way. I've been working with Fit for Golf. If you don't follow Fit for Golf on Twitter already, maybe give him a follow through his app and getting stronger. And it's coming out in these tests, and I love that. But yes, look, what the horrible thing is that the launch runner rounds up 159.5, where the software here on the PC doesn't. But we're still calling that a 160 ball speed actually. And if you look at the dispersion as well, you can see I'm definitely not afraid to leak a few to the right, but also I could hang on to it as well. So how much of this is me to the club? It's hard to tell. I mean, I've got the weight, that fraction in the toe, and Titleist aren't talking about this weight as being shaping. Because I mean, I tested it within the neutral position and as well at the start, and I was getting the exact same results. I definitely would see this as lining up more with CG, try to think of it less as shaping. Which club would people gain? Well, the thing I was most surprised, if you just take them out of the box or in the shop, and we're talking, you know, kind of what club should you buy on the shop floor? If you're a handicap golfer in all on the face, TSi2 and it's higher MOI, yeah, you're going to go for that. But what was most interesting when I test against so many different handicappers is TSi3 over 2 just kept coming out stronger. So maybe when you're testing, don't be afraid to start at TSi3, and if you hate it, go to TSi2. Definitely, it's never as black and white as sometimes the marketers want it to be. The world of golf gets simplified because it sells better to you. It doesn't make you better, it sells better to you. We can see that in content, we can see that in how they produce their marketing. Simplifying it makes it easier for you to not have to worry about it too much and just get one. If you actually dial down and look deeper, you can see there's next to nothing in those two, and TSi3 for lots of people is actually better. Thanks for watching. comment down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and let's get to 5,000 likes. Because I've got 160 ball speed. I've done my bit. It's up to you to do your bit now.